Good evening, ladies, gentlemen in the house. Good evening, colleagues. Good afternoon, in case you're joining from other parts of Africa or the world. My name is Seun Damilare-Victor. I'm the founder of Akin Performance Africa, and Akin Performance Africa is a mentoring platform where we have mentors helping younger professionals to cross their career bridges. Our motto is growth and impact. So today we're having one of our webinar series, free webinar series, and it's a very important topic, very important topic. And we've brought one of the best professionals who is vast in this area to speak on this topic. But before I introduce my friend, I would just tell us about what we do on Akin Performance Africa. So we have a WhatsApp platform where we are close to about 200 people, about 197, across various disciplines. We have people in finance, in sales, engineering, in IT, in human resources, across all disciplines. We interact and share and have fun learning from we learn with fun. So in case you want to join us through when the webinar is going on, one of our admin members or myself would share the link. If you're a professional who is interested in learning, especially on how to be a force to reckon with in your current organization or in the industry. Okay, so that's the bit about Akin Performance Africa. Every month, minimum, we have 1 or 2 webinars in a month, and we are bringing industry experts, thought leaders to facilitate, and they also go very practical so that these sessions are very impactful. So today's topic is emotional intelligence as the tool for career success. And today we have my friend, my sister, my professional colleague, who is our facilitator today. She is the founder of Workplace with Jam. And Jumoke is someone I initially knew from afar. And later on, we got talking virtually, and later on we became professional friends. And of course, it closer because, of course, she's in HR, I'm in HR, and she has done very well for herself, and she's one of the forces to reckon with when it comes to HR in Nigeria and Africa. Okay, so let me just go through our profile quickly. So Jumoke is an enthusiastic people practitioner with a wealth of experience spanning over a decade of interfacing with the C-suites, HR leaders, and hiring managers on all issues as it concerns the HR function. With talent management, emotional intelligence, career development, learning, agile, diversity and inclusion, organizational culture, and employee engagement being our core. You can see that these areas are core, and one of them is our topic for today. She is always excited to share at career events with job seekers the skills they need to make them marketable and ways to launch their careers. For experienced hires, ways to land their dream jobs, develop their careers, and build network to increase their net worth. She is also passionate about the ways continuous employee engagement can boost productivity, building positive organizational cultures, ways to achieve toxic-free workplaces, and using emotional intelligence to win in all areas of life, especially at work. She founded Workplace with Jam, a bespoke people development training and coaching firm in 2019, established in line with Social Development Goals 8, decent work and economic growth, to aid career advancement for individuals and improve business outcomes for organizations. She also founded Lifestyle with Jam, an exquisite lifestyle brand that offers a range of scented candles, reed diffusers, and scented sprays. This brand was established in line with the SDG 3, good health and well-being, to promote self-care and the overall well-being of individuals. Before I continue, Esther Azan, please help me admit people. There are people waiting in the waiting room. Thank you. So let me continue with our introduction. Dr. Jam was one of the 5 role players at the Africa the Leadership Awards, Mauritius, December 2019, where she spoke on the future of world at work. She was also awarded one of Africa's most talented HR leaders. She was recognized and awarded one of the top 50 career influencers in Africa 2020 by World Booth magazine, Nigeria. She was awarded one of the most inclusive HR influencers in 2020 and 2021 by Social Miko. She was also recognized as one of the 30 leading women in HR in Nigeria by World in HCD for 2021 and 2023 International Women's Day celebration. She was recognized as a leading woman in Business Day's June 10, 2022 publication. She was made the 100 Power Woman 2020. Okay, she made the 100 Power Woman 2022 list by the Power Woman Network, Nigeria. She was recognized as one of the 50 leaders in Agile by Leaders On, October 2022. She was conferred with an honorary doctorate of philosophy and distinguished fellow title from the Institute of Leadership, Manpower, and Management Development, December 2022. She was recognized as one of the LinkedIn Top Voices 2023 in the career category. She was also recognized as one of the top 100 career women in Africa by 9to5 Chick in March 2023. She was recognized as one of the top 20 disruptive people leaders in Nigeria by Disruptive People in June 2023. Dr. Jam is the convener of the Africa Employability Summit. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please help me welcome my sister with a loaded profile, to the virtual podium, because I'm going to be yielding the mic to her. But please, a few house rules. Let's keep our mics muted. When it's time for Q&A, you will be able to ask questions. And if you have any question you want to ask when she's speaking, presenting, please do share with myself or okay, so please let's go to the chat room and tell our facilitator today, tell her welcome. Let's encourage, let's appreciate her while I yield the virtual mic to her. Dr. Jam, my sister, over to you as you take over. We are glad that you are here today.
Thank you very, very much.
We can't see your face.
Yes, that is coming right up.
All right, great.
I need to first apologize. I actually have a cold, so please bear with me. I'm trusting that I will not sneeze in the course of this session, but if I do, please bear with me.
We understand.
I knew that I could not cancel, so I knew I had to show up, and I didn't want to give you any stories. Yes.
But thanks a lot. I really appreciate that.
I have resolved to do this, and I'm here now, and I want to thank everyone who is joining in. I'm going to share my video and my screen in a bit. Thank you very much for that warm welcome. Thank you, Seun, for inviting me. I don't take it for granted. These days, I try to, not that I'm running away from speaking, but when I tell people that we've spoken over the years, and I don't want to sound like a broken record. So at times, when people reach out to me these days, I'm like, I don't know that I really want to. I've sort of reduced the speaking engagement I grant, because these days what I say is all the ones we have said before. Are people even using them? And I think that's one thing I'll challenge everyone on this call, that don't let this just be another session. Don't let it just be another, oh, they've gathered us in a webinar. Okay, we are listening. I'm hoping that we have true transformation, even as we are a part of conversations like this. So I'm going to be talking to us about emotional intelligence as a tool for career success. And I'm going to give a lot of context, share my own experience, what I've experienced over the years, how emotional intelligence has helped me. And you will see me in a bit.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Please bear with me. I was trying to change the device. I'm sorry, I'm sure I'm not looking, but please just bear with me. I don't feel very great, but I knew that I needed to show up, and I couldn't cancel.
We like the way you appear. Just go ahead.
Bear with me. For everybody who has joined in, thank you very much for joining. I'll try to make this very straight to the point, and I'm trusting that we will have very useful takeaways. I was sharing that I've over the years, since I came across emotional intelligence and took my certification in it in 2019, I've granted, I've been on multiple stages, thousands of stages, talking to people, or hundreds of stages, talking to thousands of people about emotional intelligence. And I see that year in, year out, the need to understand and be able to use emotional intelligence is increasingly important. So it's not a trend that, oh, it has come and the time has passed. No, this is 2023. You look at the list of job skills for the future according to World Economic Forum, and you still find emotional intelligence on that list, year in, year out. So if you were going to be out of fashion by now, we should not be talking about emotional intelligence anymore. So I'm going to be sharing with us. I will try to be as real as possible, how emotional intelligence has helped me in my own career. This is my 14th year in HR, and I know the things I've been able to do with emotional intelligence. Please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, your screen is on.
Fantastic. So, typically I would do all those intros, but I think I should just dive right in. All of this, Seun already read about me. And the reason I like to do this is I want people to know, when people talk to us, we're like, who is this one? Where is this person coming from? Well, there's we've been on a journey in the last 14 years, and there are some things I will say to you that it's not that I'm not making it up. So it's from the experience, from the things that we have seen, the places that I've worked, people I've interacted with. And that's why I like to show that, yes, to sort of back up whatever it is I'm going to be sharing with us. So some things I want us to ponder on as we start this conversation by two people I respect, David Caruso and Jack Welch. I like to refer to Jack as my leadership crush. David Caruso said, it is very important to understand that emotional intelligence is not the opposite of intelligence. It is not the triumph of heart over head. It is a unique intersection of both. So some people think your emotional intelligence means you're not really solid at your job. You're not really competent. You're all just sentimental and emotional. You're just a softie. No. This is a unique intersection of your heart and your head. You are able to blend both effectively. It takes a lot of work. It will not happen overnight, but your ability to be able to master the things that come out of your heart and the things you use your head to process is the domain of emotional intelligence. And Jack Welch says, no doubt, emotional intelligence is more rare than book smart. But my experience says it is actually more important in the making of a leader. And when I use this in sessions, what I always say to people is,
can
you hear me?
Yes, we lost you for a few seconds, but you're back.
Oh, okay. So I was saying that when I take this in sessions, one thing I always say to people is, I imagine that you want to be a leader. You don't just want to be another number in the crowd. You want to make an impact in this world. Emotional intelligence can help you do that. And that's what Jack is saying. No doubt, emotional intelligence is more rare than book smart. So to be book smart is easy. You can read and cram. Yes, it's easy. You can read something, cram it, and you're book smart. But it says, no doubt, emotional intelligence is more rare than book smart. But my experience says it is actually more important in the making of a leader. So if you're a leader who will stand the test of time, who will make a true difference in our world, you will have a very, very large dose of emotional intelligence. And so when we're talking about emotional intelligence, I need us to understand the place of our conscious and our subconscious mind. We are made up of 5% conscious mind and 95% subconscious mind. And so your subconscious mind records the patterns of how you respond to certain emotions, things, and people. And it trains your body to respond to those things in the same way each time. Throughout your life, your subconscious will record in your memory everything you say, do, and think. The reason I like to talk about this is because when we are having a conversation about emotional intelligence now, I'm going to be telling us many things we need to change. But I'm reminding us that our default nature is made up of our 95 things. The things that we do on a daily basis is in our subconscious. If you are doing something for the first time, it goes to your conscious mind. When you do it time and time again, it moves to your subconscious so that you don't even think too much before you get it done. And I'll give some examples. If you're just learning to drive, you need to be deliberate. You need to pay attention to the brake, and that I tell people that at times on my drive to work, that's when time I have to make long calls. So I'm driving to work and I'm on the phone with someone, my headphones are on, and I don't particularly think about my route to work. I can be talking on the phone till I get to the office, and it's when I get to the car park, I'm like, oh, I'm here. I'm the one driving now. Because in my subconscious, I already know my way to work. Whereas when I was resuming in that job for the first time, I will concentrate. I'll be like, oh, where do I turn? I'll be using the map. Where do I turn off? Oh, this. But because I know it every day, I've gone there every day for a couple of months, I don't have to think too much to drive to work. Same thing for cooking noodles. When we started making noodles, we will say, oh, okay, the people who even brought it will say 2 minutes Indomie noodles. And so in 2 minutes, you can put the water, quickly do. Then we didn't even used to explore. It's only what is in the noodles you cook. Because they're like, I don't want it to go and taste one kind, I need the taste to be solid, But over the years, I don't know, is there anything people don't add in noodles these days? Because it's already you don't need to think too much to make your noodles. Now you're like, if you want to do 10 minutes noodles, it's up to you. Because you're now a master of the game. It has moved from conscious to subconscious. So you're on like autopilot, cruise control. And that's what happens with our emotions. So your conscious mind just has 5% of who you are, and then your subconscious mind has 95%. And so if somebody tells you, are you mad? And your default response is to land the person a slap, that is in your subconscious mind. That is how you know to respond. And then I'm coming on this call now, September 23rd, 24th, 2023. And I'm telling you that if somebody says, are you mad? Don't be quick to react to that person. I'm calling your attention to something. I want you to move to your conscious mind, because it will take a bit for you to not respond the way you know how to respond, because the way you know how to respond is in your subconscious mind. I hope that I'm not confusing us. I hope that you understand what I'm saying. My point is, the way you know to respond on a very good day, how you have responded over the years, is in your subconscious mind. If you are going to change that to responding better, to analyzing things before you to responding and not reacting, then it needs to be in your conscious mind for starters. And then as you begin to do it again and again and again, it becomes something that goes into your subconscious mind. If you are with me, I want to hear in the chat, because if we understand this, everything else I say will be easy peasy. So I want to hear in the chat, do you understand what I've just described about our conscious and subconscious mind? I want to be sure. This is not, I don't just want to dish. I want to be sure that we understand that if somebody says, Jam, are you okay? And my default response is, you two, you're not okay. I think you're really not okay. I think you have, and my first response is to fight the person. That is my subconscious mind, because I didn't get you overnight. This is how I've learned to respond over time. So if I'm going to be emotionally intelligent and somebody says, are you okay? And I'm going to say, what do you mean by my okay? Or I say, and then I switch it and say, are you okay? And I start singing to the person. It is because I'm deliberately saying I won't get pissed because of what the person has said. So I'm moving to my conscious mind. And then when it dwells in my conscious mind, I start to respond like that, not in anger, and I'm deliberate to process it before I reply people, then it is moving gradually to my subconscious. And that's the crux of this conversation. If we get this, we are well on our way to building truly living emotionally intelligent lives. Okay. So we've established this. Something that I want us to ponder on. Emotional intelligence is a key indicator of leadership performance. And when leaders lead well, organizations do well. There are many feedback that we get across the globe that people don't leave organizations, they leave leaders. You will have seen it. So many of us will have resigned because we're like, this line manager, I don't like the interactions that we have. I don't believe in the way this person manages me as a leader. And yes, leaders are the number one set of people that make organizations lose talent, especially when the organization does nothing about it. I always say it as a HR person, line managers can make or mar efforts, HR people on the call. You can do all the brilliant employee engagement initiatives. You can speak all the nice English. You can do all the great place to work shenanigans. If you have terrible line managers that your people interact with every day, you have a problem on your hands. And may God help you. This time to get all churchy on you. May God help you. But look at what this is saying. Emotional intelligence is a key indicator of leadership performance. When leaders lead well, it just goes hand in hand. Organizations do well. So when leaders don't do well, you can conclude that. So how do we understand the emotional triad? I need us to understand, coming from the conversation from our conscious and subconscious mind, to know that our thoughts create our feelings. The way that we think will create how we feel. Our feelings create our behaviors, and our behaviors reinforce our thoughts. It's a vicious circle. It goes round and round and round. Even the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so he is. Yes. Or so is he. Yes. What you think about will determine how you feel. Since the passing of Mobad, so I've worked in TVC before, and so I listened to Max FM. It has become, again, I didn't used to listen back to conscious and subconscious mind. I didn't used to listen to Max FM, and then I worked there for over a year, and I started to, because I knew the people I could really relate. In my car, my radio is perpetually on Max FM. And so in the mornings, I'm driving to work or coming back from work. And because of Max FM, I started to listen to Ask About Me by Mobad. I didn't know who Mobad was, but I just always hear Ask About Me. And I just like the flow of the song. So when he passed, I felt really touched or shaken by his death. And so Monday last week, or Monday, this past Monday, I was driving to work and I was in traffic. So while in traffic, I was just scrolling through Instagram and I was seeing different posts about Mobad on a Monday morning. I was going to work. And you know that just watching, of course, it was painful. And I've said it, to people who care to listen. Maybe he joined bad gangs, but it didn't mean that he should be bullied to death. It doesn't justify what has happened to him. And so I was scrolling through Instagram, and I was taking in all the things people were saying, and it was a Monday morning, and I believe in energy. I believe in vibe. And watching all those things that morning on my way to work, I was already sad. Because yes, the story around Mobad is quite disheartening. It's heartbreaking. And I was already sad. And I had to jolt. I was like, this is not the right way to start your day. And that's why I don't want the news. I don't watch the news. When they're going to announce the electoral tribunal the other day, this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I wasn't even aware. A friend of mine flew in from Canada, and she was like, my husband was saying, is this the right time to come to Nigeria? They're announcing the outcome of the tribunal on Wednesday. I said they are. I'm telling you that somebody from Canada was one telling me. Because I'm deliberate about my energy. And I know that when I think about something, it would impact on how I feel. And that's where depression lies. You are dwelling on negative thoughts. You are dwelling on depressing thoughts. You will be feeling depressed. You will feel negative. And when you think about something, it will create how you feel. When you feel that way, you will behave in the way that you feel. And when you behave in the way you feel, it reinforces your thoughts. And then your thoughts create your feelings again, and it's a vicious circle. One thing I always say to people about depression, this is not me casting, I'm not trying to make mild what people are going through, but I'm saying that I've experienced a loss. I lost my dad. I lost my pastor some years ago, somebody who I respected a lot. My auntie recently passed at 82. She passed on Wednesday, and I cried because I was hurt that my auntie she sang me I was 40 a few days ago, and my auntie called me to wish me happy birthday. We did video. I saw her face, and I was sad that she won't be there anymore for me to talk to. But what makes the difference is me not dwelling in the thought of the fact that I'm missing my loved one. When you dwell on that thought, you will feel. So imagine my auntie has passed, and I'm like, oh, she's like my second daddy because she's my dad's elder sister. I'm so miserable. I'm so miserable. I wake up, I'm miserable. I sleep, I'm miserable. In short, when Seun says, Jam, this session is on Sunday, I'll say, no, my auntie just died. I'm very sad. Very, very sad. I can't do it. What you think? I'm dwelling. I'm not saying, again, like I said, we're different. How we manage grief and stuff were very different. But remember that when you think about it, it creates how you feel. When you feel and dwell on that feeling, you will behave that way. When you behave that way, you are reinforcing how you are thinking. And when you are, so it's a vicious circle. So we all, like I said, we all deal with grief in different ways. But some people experience loss and they chin up, they come out of it. And that's why depression is there, because something unpalatable has happened and people don't know to be deliberate about coming out of that thought and be deliberate about how they feel. These things are important because even on the job, even in our marriages, in our relationships with people, all these things, we see them at play. So be careful about what you think about. If the news will infect your thinking negatively, cut it off. If it is music, some lyrics you listen to will make you. I always tell people that, in the days I was single, there are times I'll just be listening to certain songs and I'll be remembering that I'm a single Pringle. I'll be sad because of the lyrics of a song. Yes, I've been married 10 years now, but I'm saying I've been there before. Where you are single and like, I just listen to some, all those heartbreak love songs. You now dwell on it and be bitter. You just be sad for no reason. Nobody particularly broke your heart, but you are listening to a song and you are dwelling on it, and these things have far-reaching effects, and they are not to be taken for granted. So always know that your thought will create how you feel about your life, yourself, your reality, how you feel about whatever it is. See, I live in Nigeria, and until I'm clear as to whether or not I need to japa, I'm here and I'm living my best life. And my friends abroad are always like, are you sure you're in that Nigeria? When you say there's fuel scarcity, I get feel if I need to move around. I don't have a scarcity mindset. I have an abundance mindset. So I can be living in Nigeria, but I'm living my best life. And when I want the continent I want to enter, I will apply for the visa. They will give me, I will go there, I will chop life, I will come back. So again, it's about your thoughts. Some people are living abroad and they are not living as large as some of us are in Nigeria. Be rest assured. Again, your thoughts will create how you feel. So you live in Nigeria, somebody is saying, you people in Nigeria that did not jackpot, you are suffering, and then you're feeling bad. Are you suffering? So your thoughts, again, it will create how you feel. Be deliberate about what you think about. I feel like I'm preaching. It's feeling like service. I know that we all went to church on Sunday. For people that go to church, let me go ahead. Okay. So there are 8 basic emotions: anger, anxiety, joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, and disgust. And these emotions, God gave us to feel them. No emotion is bad. What you do when you're experiencing the emotion is what makes the difference. Somebody can be angry and it doesn't lead into a fight. Somebody can be happy, they can be so joyous and it leads to death. So the emotions in themselves are not wrong. God gave us to feel them. In a day, you can feel all these 8 emotions: anger, anxiety. I tell people that anxiety, as much as I've climbed global stages, I have a few more coming, many more rather, not few. I have many more global stages I'm going on. I still get anxious. I was fooled before this session started. And I was explaining to Seun, my laptop wasn't connecting to the internet. I couldn't project my slides. I was already getting edgy. But, I had to tell myself, hello, this session, you will have it. So just calm down. I'll just calm. And that's what I was explaining to you guys. Please give me a minute. Anxiety is not out of place. There are some people on this call I don't know. I saw a few people joining that I know. I can see a few names in the chat. But I don't know everybody. And so if I'm anxious that, will I say the right thing? Will my slides come up? How will this session go? Is not out of place. So you get into a new environment or you have an interview and you're anxious. It's okay. It's a feeling. It is because something is at stake. That's why you are anxious. I'm so sorry, guys. Somebody's distracting. My daughter is She's doing what I'm doing. You know when they say lion know the born goat? So she stands there and she's like, okay. So as I was saying, anxiety is not out of place. It's because something is at stake. So you have an interview tomorrow. You don't know who the panel members will be and you're anxious. That's okay. It's okay. You don't know them. You don't know what questions they will ask. You don't know if you will get the job. That's okay. But if you get into that interview and you let the anxiety get the better of you and you're not able to express yourself, you're not able to put your best foot forward, you're not able to explain to them why you are the talent they are missing in the organization, that's where the problem is. But that you are anxious ahead of an interview, it's okay. So remember that all these emotions are not wrong. Even anger, it is that something has happened. But if you are angry and you throw something at someone or get into a big fight, that's where the problem is. One example I like to give about joy is somebody wins a lottery or maybe got a new job and the job comes with an official car, you know, the latest, whatever brand, I'm not a car freak, whatever the car is. And the person is so happy. And the guy is like, hey, boys, let's enter town. And then they're driving on Lagos Expressway. They're so happy that, hey, our guy just got this multinational job. See the charity rubber card they just gave him. Everybody's happy, rejoicing. And then they're driving on Lagos Expressway and they have a gas. I hope you remember that we started from joy. It was from a good thing. So a good emotion can end up negative. That's why I said how we respond. So you can have joy and be overjoyed and it can turn to something else. So the emotions are okay in themselves. God gave us to feel them. Fear, yes. You are afraid something has happened, there's fear, yes. But if you let the fear overshadow you, if you let the fear overwhelm you, that's what the problem is. So remember that the emotions in themselves are not wrong. God gave us to feel. So I think I will come back to this because I need to use it to explain the difference between being emotionally intelligent and someone who is not emotionally intelligent. And that's based on assertiveness or an aggressiveness. So I'll come back to that. Emotional intelligence facts, you should know a few things I came across. A 40-year study at UC Berkeley reported that emotional intelligence is nearly 4 times more powerful than IQ in predicting success. An internal study by PepsiCo revealed that managers with IEI or EQ levels outperformed annual targets by 15 to 20%. According to a study by Motorola on SHRM, 93% of employees at the Motorola plant became more productive after adopting different EQ programs for stress relief. According to the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report, EI will break into the top 10 job skills from 2021 and onwards. No lies. And I'll share it with us in a bit. And so when we want to talk about emotional intelligence, there are different definitions you'll find online. There are 2 that I like to use, and one of it is my favorite. The first one is by 6 Seconds Network, that emotional intelligence refers to how you effectively blend your thinking and feeling capacity to make optimal decisions. I really love that definition. But my favorite definition is one by Peter Salovey. And it says emotional intelligence is being smart with your feelings. Many of us know to save, invest. We have different apps on our phone. We want to make sure we don't chop away our future. We want to save, we want to invest. We know to manage our time. We know when it's time to read a book, when it's time to work on your reports before the deadline. We know all those things. And then we're saying, how do you know to be smart with your feelings? All those things you are doing. You are being smart with your time, being smart with your money. How do you know to be smart with your feelings? It is that you have resolved that this is how I will feel, and then you don't allow anything or anyone make you feel otherwise. That is what it means to be smart with your feelings. You have resolved that you don't allow anything or anyone make you feel otherwise. How many of us can make that decision? That I don't care what people's plan is, how they want me to feel, but I've resolved that this is how I will feel. You know, Yoruba people will say, konironu, that this one know they think. And it is because you have resolved that I'm going to lead an emotional intelligence life. So if your plan is to come and disturb that, I won't allow you. It's a decision you make and you don't get there overnight. So I've defined emotional intelligence for us. If you don't remember anything, remember that it is about being smart with your feelings. And I need us to know that emotional intelligence is the foundation of critical skills. all the skills that matter, all the skills that will help you thrive in your career, they are embedded in emotional intelligence. Time management, decision making, empathy, stress tolerance, anger management, trust, assertiveness, accountability, flexibility, presentation skills, teamwork, change tolerance, communication, social skills, customer service, all these things, they're embedded in emotional intelligence. I was taking a session yesterday for an organization. I was talking to them about organizational culture. And I was saying to them that empathy is very key, even in business. Because if you cannot empathize with your customer, they will tell you the problem they have and you just shrug them. But if you can put yourself in their shoes, you will solve their problem. They will feel great about the service and be sure that they will bring other people. So empathy is key, as in it cuts across. So when we say that, how do we use emotional intelligence as a tool for career success? This is where I would dwell on that before I then round up on the other elements of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence has 4 key cardinal points: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. And so with self-awareness, it talks about emotional self-awareness. Who are you? Do you know your magic? Do you know that you're the best thing after sliced bread? Do you know it and do you act accordingly? Do you know that you're the only one of your type? Yes, there are billions of people on planet Earth, but you are the only one of your type. People can say somebody looks like you. People can say somebody talks like you. People can say somebody dresses like you. But there's nobody that is actually you again. Do you know that? Do you know it well enough? Do you know your strengths, your weaknesses? Do you know your triggers? Do you know the things that piss you off? Do you know that the things that you like? Some of us don't know our favorite color. Some of us don't know our favorite food. You are just there. Don't just be there. Who are you? Have you experienced your own self? Because really, you can only give what you have. So if you have experienced yourself, it's from that beautiful experience you can share with other people. I always tell people that my birthday every year is big deal for me. Every year. First is because I understand the place of gratitude. I know people older than me die, people younger than me die. So every new year that I say that's a brand new gift I'm opening and I do not take it for granted. Whether I've achieved the goals for the year or I've not achieved the goals for that year, my birthday is coming, be sure that I'm elated. Number one. Number two, I also realized that the degree to which I am excited about my birthday is the degree to which people meet me halfway. I tell people always like, every year, birthday, everybody's posting all over, everybody. People are like, who is this woman? Everybody. And I'm like, it's because I love myself so much. I love myself. I'm already disturbing you that my birthday is coming, that all of them will be like, let's celebrate. Hello. So I'm not, I know I love my existence so much that the only option people around me who care, not everybody will care. People around me who care will meet me halfway and say, let's join her to show love to her. Are you that kind of person? Or you are already sad by yourself? You are waiting for people to give you sunshine from their lives? No, you should bring some sunshine. You should. And that's place of self-awareness. Knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. You. The unique source you bring to the world. God dropped you on this planet for a reason. My mom will always say, if God wanted me to be a Caucasian, I will not be in Nigeria. And God doesn't make errors. It's too articulate to make mistakes. So that I'm here in Nigeria, living in Lagos, born, bred, buttered, mayonnaise, and jammed in Lagos. It's not an accident. God is too deliberate. God that put ear here, he didn't put it here. He put nose here, he didn't put it here. God. So do you know, or are you sad about your reality so much that you don't even say anything good? If you don't say anything good in your life or your person, you can't appreciate self-awareness. Do you love the color of your skin? Do you love the shape of your face? I'm not talking about people that are doing plastic surgery. Don't let's go there. That's not what Seun called me to come and address today. But self-awareness is you know yourself and you love do you know yourself? And that's what assignment I'll leave with us. Have you gone on that personal retreat? Have you sat down with yourself enough to say, this is who I am? This is the magic I bring to the world. This is what I'm about. This is why God put me here. And I'm not in doubt. Do you know yourself, guys? I hope that at the end of this session, you have, if it's just one takeaway you have, I'm okay. That you go on that journey and say, who am I going safe? And people can give you feedback. A coach can work with you, but please, you need to come, they say come correct. It's not the coach will not put needle in your body and be finding out who is this person. I wish maybe we'll come up with science like that you just come to my office, I'm a coach, and then I'll get my needle and poke it in your body and be like, who is this person? Who is this person? I'm finding out who is this person. There's no needle that I know of. So you need to first go on that journey yourself, and then your coach can help you discover your voice, know your strengths, your weakness. I tell people, I know the things I'm good at, I know the things I'm not very great at. And so even when you give me feedback, I'm not upset. When you give me feedback, I'm not defensive, because that feedback you're already giving me go more. Even I know. And so I'm not going to, if you're self-aware and people give you feedback, you'll not be defensive. You will take the feedback, I'm like, oh, that's fine. You have no point to prove to anybody. Self-management is also very key. Your ability to self-regulate, ability to adapt, ability to have an achievement orientation, an ability to have very positive outlook to life. Guys, these things will take you far. And I'm not trying to give the aspire to refire. I've seen it work in my career and life. I see the people close to me know these things, and I just try not to share too much, because I also know that people are in different stages in their own journey. And so if I share my own journey, it can be as if I'm intimidating people, and that's not my plan. I'm just hoping that when I share it, it reminds you that you can be it and bigger self. You need to have an achievement orientation. I'm not saying that you have ticked all the boxes. I have a goal book. It's not nearby. I have the goals I've set for this year. Some of them I've ticked. In short, there was a goal I set, and I do vision boarding. So in January, I did a vision board. I said I wrote what I wanted. And even when I wrote it, I was telling myself that carry. Let me see the money you used to do this thing. Oh, go ahead. Go, madam. And by May, I wrote it in January. By May, I got that thing. Capital intensive, but I didn't have to drop a dime. That's how God works. And that's the place of, so you need to have an achievement of it. What do you want to achieve? And like I said, I achieve it. There are some other things I've not achieved, and I'm not killing myself. The one I've achieved, I'm grateful. Do you have a positive outlook to life? Or when they're talking about inflation, and they're talking about subsidy removal, and they're talking about all things they're talking about, and you are claiming and say, Tio, they said it doesn't matter the economy of the jungle, the lion will not lack. That's my mindset. So I can live in Nigeria, and I tell people, when there's fuel scarcity, I get fuel easily. So they deliver it to my house. Because I will not say, will I now trek? I cannot trek. Even when they remove subsidy, I tell people, I say, see, except I can pour water in my tank. If it is fuel I will need to put there to move about, that fuel, God will provide it. If it needs to triple my income and make sure that I have more money to be able to afford it, go ahead, Baba God, Sky Daddy, is in your hand. But do not have a negative outlook to life. It does not help. Remember, our thoughts create how we feel creates our behavior, and our behavior reinforces our thoughts, and that vicious circle, you will just be moody, you will be sad, you will be gloomy. The other day, one of my direct reports was telling me in the office that, Jam, I don't know how you do it too. How are you always happy? It's not that I don't have problem. Guys, I do. There are things I want to do that I've not done yet. There are things I want to tick off. I've not been able to take them off yet, but I will also not be going about feeling gloomy. Because as I'm alive, I wake up, I can open one eye, open. I can still breathe. Hello, on to the next. We're moving on. It's another beautiful day God has given me to go and achieve those things. So being positive, when people say positive vibes only, it's not lambao, it's not it's an instrument you should use, guys. And I'm not the one that did this thing with Daniel Goleman, no. It's not my handwriting. So you see, understand the 4 cardinal points of EQ by Daniel Goleman. It's not me, it's Daniel Goleman that said these things. And then adaptability. You are in an environment, things are changing. How are you adapting? How are you able to self-regulate? You know your limits. You are the CEO of your life. You know the friends you should bring close. You need to know people that you should be looking at from a distance, self-regulation. I tell people that I went for an event with my colleagues sometime last year, and we were taking tequila shots. And the moment I said I was feeling, because they're on Igbos, I just said, oh, I don't want anymore. I just wanted water. And one of my colleagues looked at me. She's Estonian. And she was like, Jam, what you mean? You don't want anymore? I said, I don't want anymore. I'm good. I'll just take water. That's my limit. She was like, really? You know your limit and you don't want anymore? I'm like, that's self-regulation. I'm not going to say, oh, I want to impress them. And I'm going to take it so much so that they will have to carry me and take me home. Self-regulation, know your limits. Know the things that are things you will not do at all. Things you will do, and you know, these are the boundaries I've set. Know those things. It's up to you, and you better know them. And then in tying it to our careers, when you look at self-awareness and self-management, those two elements are very key. I always say that if you are in a career that comes readily to you, that ties to your strengths, it's easy for you to thrive. So go and check it. And that's why I say your strengths and your weaknesses. If you're not a numbers lover, why are you in finance? Why are you in accounting? If you know that you don't really like to talk to people, you are introverted, why are you in sales? Why are you in business development? So first and foremost, make sure that the career journey or your career path is in sync with who you are, so that way you won't struggle. I always say that there's something I came across that said, if you judge a fish by its ability to fly, it will live its whole life feeling like a failure. So you need to know that if you're going to thrive in your career, come from the place of self-awareness. I hope that the career you are in comes readily to you. I always say that HR people will say, HR, it's not because you like people, you should be doing HR. HR is about numbers. Can you come one thing? When people talk, I'm like, okay, I hear you. But I always tell people that make sure that you really love people. If you don't love people, you cannot survive as a HR person. Everything they do will upset you. See, in one of my jobs, one of our colleagues lost her son, and she was widowed already. She had 2 kids, and then she lost one son who was dealing with an ailment, and the boy eventually died. And myself and another colleague were meant to go and visit her at home. And I got to her house. HR, the thing, I should write a book about the shege my eyes seen in HR. And we went to her house to greet her, and I sat down. And again, when people are grieving, you have to be careful. You don't know the right words to say. But it's your own work as HR. Somebody in finance may not need to go. Somebody in account in tech may not need to go. But you are HR, it's part of your own work. So we went to greet this person. And then before we left, I was like, oh, let's pray. The lady said, no, don't pray with me. And nobody should tell me anything about God. Where was God when my husband died? Where was he now that my son is also dead? Hello. I just kept quiet. And I'm like, so if I didn't have a genuine love for people, I'll be like, is this woman okay? No, check it. So make sure that the career you are in, it speaks to your strength so that you will not struggle. And that's what they say about the eagle. The eagle doesn't fly, it soars because it just gets into the sky, aligns its wings with the direction of the wind, and then the wind carries it. And that reminds me of well, I'm sure even if you're not a Christian, you'll have heard the song. Ọwọ́ Olúwa ń bẹ lórí ayé mi o, ó ń gbé mi fò, ó ń gbé mi sáré. Please, if you can interpret, Seun, help me interpret. Help me interpret in the chat. But honestly, that's what it means when you are doing a career that aligns with your person, that aligns with your innate abilities. You will thrive easily. So if you are thinking of how do I use emotional intelligence for career success, first, start with a job or a role or a career path that aligns with your natural or innate skills. And then self-management is you being able to manage yourself. If your line manager has to follow up with you on task, they have to remind you about deadline of reports. You're not self-managing. Know what to do and when. When it's time to prepare your reports, it's not time to be chatting. It's time to focus on your reports. Be able to self-manage. And I always say, please plan your career like a business. I'm a business person who say, I want to talk to 20 businesses this year. I want to make a total of 20 billion this year. The way businesses plan your career like that. Oh, I've seen too much in my career life that I feel sorry for people. Plan your career, know when to make a move. I always say it, every job has a lifespan. And whatever you do, don't overstay your welcome. People will say, how do you know when it's time to go? You will know. I attend the Covenant Nation, and Pastor Kojo has been talking about hearing from God, and he was talking about we listening to our conscience. There are times your body will tell you, don't do this thing. And when you do it, you see that, yes, you're not meant to do it. So it's not that God says, appear. God will not appear like he appeared to Moses. He may not say, dear my child, this is what you will. It's a nudge. So Know when it's time to go. Know how you are planning your career. Take your career personally. Do your career like a business box. You have portfolio, you are checking. Where do I want to see myself in 5 years? In the last, and then in the organization you are in, they are not promoting you. You are there. The increment is like 2K every year. Ojo only 100K. Let me interpret. I'm so sorry, I'm a typical Yoruba girl. Let me interpret in the chat for our non-Yoruba speakers. Be deliberate. So what I want us to focus on is the fact that these 4 cardinal points, the first 2 has to do with you. The next 2 have to do with other people and your interaction with other people. So I'll move quickly to social awareness. So social awareness talks about empathy, putting yourself in the other person's shoes. It talks about organizational awareness. Do you know what's happening around you? Do you know the powers that be? I tell people that I'm not an advocate of playing dirty politics in the workplace, where you're the good one, everybody else, something is wrong with them, you badmouth them, you throw them under the bus, you wash them, you say that you go and say something bad so that person does not get it, then it's you they will give. Please, there will be a special reservation for you in that place that is removing smoke. I won't mention, don't go and badmouth people. Don't go and make it look as if, oh, you're the best thing, you are the best, other people, something is wrong with them. And then you go and be lying about people, gossiping. Please. When I say organizational awareness, I'm saying there are power brokers in your organizations. Do they know you? I hope that in your role, it's not only your line manager that knows you and the quality of work that you do. Because God forbid your line manager doesn't even speak well about you when you're not there. Who else can speak for you? That's what I mean. And do it with discretion. Do it with a lot of wisdom. But make sure that it's not only your boss that knows that you are as good as you are. Because I know you're good. And of course, if we have areas we're lacking, we should be deliberate to work on those areas so that our competence will never be in doubt. Empathy is putting yourself in the other person's shoes. I'll give a quick example. I still shared it yesterday when I was talking about organizational culture, that I got married 2013. This year will mark 10 years of my marriage. And few months after, I had a baby, as in I was pregnant already. I mean pregnant, you know. And then my son came about 8 or 9 months after. And when my daughter too was going to come, I just realized I was pregnant. My point is, I never had to do anything to, no IVF. No, it's not my reality. But I have friends I have some friends that trusted God for a child and God eventually came through and I carried it on my head. I have other friends that are still trusting God for a child. I see links about fertility. I see anything, I will send it to them. That's empathy. Because that pain, I don't know how it feels. That is empathy. Empathy is, it may not be your reality, but you can feel it on behalf of the other person. And as leaders on this call, as HR people, empathy is very key. HR, it may not be your reality, but be able to put yourself in people's shoes because that's their own reality. Leaders, I had a leader once that, if I share that example here, a few people are here that will link it. I mean, I don't want to share it. But empathy is key. Empathy can determine, because and when you display empathy for your direct reports, you are depositing social capital with them. When you do those things for them, you are reminding them so that when they're at that crossroads, should I go, should I wait? They can decide that, let me stick around and still make magic with this person. Or they can decide that, you know what, I want out. I will not share that example for very obvious reasons, but it was a clear case of somebody not using empathy to deal with me. And I was hurt because I was like, it may not be your reality, but the fact that you could not feel me was unfair, was painful. And so empathy is very key. And it is putting yourself in the other person's shoes. What they are going through may not be your reality, but being able to feel what they're going through. I'll move quickly to relationship management. Influence, your ability to influence other people. And you don't have to be the head of the department to influence, no. You are a fellow colleague. By what you do and undo, people see and people take a cue. Coaching, teamwork, conflict management, inspiration. I tell people, conflict is normal, even couples fight. conflict is normal. What makes a difference is how we are deliberate about conflict resolution. Conflict is normal, but what makes a difference is conflict resolution. And then when you look at teamwork, nothing beats your ability to work well with other people. It's not overrated. Don't be that nuisance colleague that everybody just, this one has come, troublemaker. No, don't let that be you. Even the Bible says, as much as is possible, live in peace with all men. It can be hard. People are terrible, I know. But as much as possible, work well with your colleagues. People will go and mention. There was something I put on my status yesterday. Let me read it very quickly for us. And I was just ruminating and I'm like, this is something people need to pay attention to. Let me read it very quickly. And I said, when you've left that position of leadership and you've vacated that position of authority, your kids grow up and get into the world of work and they mention you as their parents to someone who has worked with you before, especially maybe your direct reports. What will be said of you? Will your kids suffer for the pain you brought on others, or they'll reap the reward of your good deeds? Think about that. I then said, and don't think I mean just in Nigeria. As people are jackpotting like this, remember that Yoruba people say omi leniyan. So we flow, and you never know how our path will cross. Bottom line, treat people well. And then, of course, inspire other people in the way that you do the things you do. With relationship management is that you are deliberate about building sound, solid, and sustainable relationships with people. Like Seun rightly said, I'd known Seun from a distance. And then in recent times, we talk more, we're chatting about HR and stuff. And I was like, oh, I need you to come on my program. And I'm like, I'll be glad to do that. Building relationships will never go out of fashion. Now, don't build it because you just want to take, collect. When people see that you're also just taking, they will put you aside. Make sure that it is mutually beneficial. And so when we are saying, how do we use EQ for career success? Looking at social awareness and relationship management, I'm saying in the organization that you are, who knows you that you're good at what you do? Don't let it only be your boss that knows that you're good. Make sure that you're first good, before you go and be shouting that you are good and you're not all that. Please make sure that you have grown depth in whatever field you're in. But beyond your manager, your line manager, make sure that there are other people that matter. They know that you're good. That's organizational awareness. And always remember to put yourself in other people's shoes. As a line manager, as a direct reports too. You know that leadership, it is a burden. Your leaders may not always complain to you about their issues, but be sure that they are carrying a burden. So empathy, even for you, is important, and be socially aware. I've said it's organizational awareness. Be known within your organization and outside. Seun said something that for me, I still find very humbling, and I didn't get it overnight. When you list HR people within this country or within the shores of Nigeria, my name will come up. And I didn't get there overnight. I didn't get there in my first year. This is my 14th year practicing HR. And we are still fine-tuning how to stay relevant and make sure that when they're counting HR people, we're not left out. It's deliberate. And even though I cannot work in all the organizations of the world, people across organizations know me. It's deliberate. So how you are socially aware is very key. Knowing what is happening around you. Don't just say, oh, I'm in this organization. In short, I tell my direct report, I lead a team of about 23 people in my current role. And I tell them, I say, guys, whatever it is I'm saying to you, however it is I'm grooming you, however it is I'm leading you as your guy, it is not just for the job here. I'm grooming you to be successful career professionals. I'm not just doing it for how you would thrive in your role here. No, I'm saying the big picture because you will go find your careers. And I tell them, I say in the future, I'll say that person work with me in my team. That person, the HR director in that place, worked with me in my team. Yes, those are the people I'm grooming. And then in the place of relationship management, build relationships so much so for your career that doors open for you without you knocking too hard. I've worked in about 7 organizations in the last 14 years. And it's only one role I saw that was random and I applied. All the other roles I've been in came as a result of relationships. Another one came because somebody reached out to me on LinkedIn. So in most cases, somebody will say, oh, there is a role, and then they send my CV, and I go for the interview and I get the job. and I've worked for like 7 organizations. I only applied for one. I saw it on a WhatsApp platform. I thought it was an interesting role. I applied and I got it. All the other roles. That's what relationship can do for you. So you too, have you built relationships so much so that the people who matter will mention your name in a room full of opportunities? Again, remember, don't build relationships because you don't want to take. Are you willing to give value back to the other person? That's something to think about. Okay, because I've talked a lot about self-awareness, I would recommend we take this www.16personalities.com and take that test. It's a personality test. www.16personalities.com. It will show you, and be very honest with your responses. If you lie about your responses, their assessment will be wrong. So be very honest. Once you do that, it would give you your profile, your strengths, your weaknesses. It will even tell you some celebrities you have a similar personality with. So please go ahead and take it. Remember to be honest in your responses so that the assessment will be as accurate as possible. And I always say to people that personality test is not meant to box us. They're supposed to just help us better know who we are and, what are the things we need to fine tune. Okay, something else to ponder on as I round up. People who possess high emotional intelligence are the people who truly succeed in work as well as play, building flourishing careers and lasting meaningful relationships. So if you want to succeed, you want to leave your mark, a great mark on our world, please deploy emotional intelligence. I will share 2 quick models of emotional intelligence. One is by KCG model by 6 Seconds Network. And that's a network that is churning a lot of content when it comes to emotional intelligence. And so their own model says the KCG model. Know yourself. I've talked about that, self-awareness. Choose yourself. You again. Give yourself. And that's to say, give yourself to a higher cause. And you see, when Seun was reading my profile, you talked about the SDGs that I was keen on. I'm not just living my life, making money, living the good life, and I don't care what everybody else is. I'm also still keen, and that's how I will grant speaking engagements like this. That's why I will share on LinkedIn. If you're not following me on LinkedIn and on Instagram, you are very wrong. Workplace with Jam. You can see it up here. Workplace with Jam. Or down here, what I do on those pages is to share content. And I tell people that I know the things that has worked for me in the 14 years in my career. So I am deliberate about sharing it on LinkedIn. I'm deliberate about sharing it on IG so that it helps you to land your next big job, thrive in your current job, whatever your reality is. So giving yourself is key. Why are you on this planet? If all you do is, I want to make money, I want to rise to be GM in a bank, make all the money, and you're not thinking about how you will give back, how you'll be a blessing to other people, there's a problem. So remember this model by 6 Seconds Network. Know yourself, what you're here for. Choose yourself, how you impact the world around you, and then give yourself why you are here. And I'll go quickly to my model of emotional intelligence. A lot of people now talk about this model and be sure that each time I hear it, I'm very humbled. So it was after I took my certification in emotional intelligence, I said, how can I help people understand EQ? How can I help people translate EQ to something they can easily use? And then I came up with the KOB model of emotional intelligence, August 2020. And K says, know your magic, find yourself, discover what makes you tick. O says, own your magic, be deliberate about owning what makes you tick. Put it in a form that can bless other people. Put it in a form that people will see it. Like I said, I know how people can land their dream jobs. I know what people should do to thrive in their careers. And if I know it and I cannot share it on LinkedIn, I cannot share it on Instagram, I cannot share it in content, I cannot share it in posts, I cannot share it on my WhatsApp status in a way that can benefit people, then what's the point? And that's the place of owning somebody's mic is unmuted. So that's the place of owning your magic. And lastly, bless others with your magic. So do all you can to share your awesomeness with the world around you. I'm going to commend Seun. A lot of people come up with different things, but not everybody can sustain it. But Seun says, no, I will come up with Hacking Performance Africa because I want to show Africans, how do you hack? If you can hack performance, your promotion every year is sure. Or people will be poaching you like hot cake. Yes. And so Seun is saying, I will bring this, I will create this platform, bring seasoned professionals together because I want them to be able to hack performance When you act performance, you know how to scale. You will not be stuck in a role. You will know to be agile. You will know when it's time to move jobs. You will know when to go for interviews. You know when, Thank you, Seun, for blessing us with your magic. That's why we're here. And I think you guys deserve to give Seun a round of applause, or Seun deserves a round of applause. Please unmute and clap for Seun. Because the reason we're here, I'm not hearing the clap, so. Oh, can they be unmuted?
Yes, they can unmute.
Please unmute and clap for Seun. Because you are blessing
FDB, Baba, clap for you.
Yes, that's why we're here. And I'm challenging every one of us. How should you bless us with your magic? When you have not been able to own it and own it, you are shortchanging the world. God gave each one of us something. And don't think, Jam has already done Workplace with Jam. Tony has already done Tony Talks Talent. Seun has already done Akin Performer. Me, what will I do? Just wait. God will give you your own. But it needs to be sure that you are ready to actually bless people with your magic. And no, everybody has created their own. Does not mean you will create your own too. Before there was Workplace with Jam, did I ever even think there should be something like that? But it came. So again, guys, know your magic, own your magic, and bless others with your magic. The importance of EQ in the workplace, I would, rush through because I know it's past 6 already. 40% of emotionally intelligent companies reported strong customer loyalty. So EQ does not benefit you alone as an individual. Organizations benefit from EQ. 90% of top workplace performers were highly emotionally intelligent. It is not overrated. A Fortune 500 company added EQ criteria, increasing annual profit by $32 million and retaining 67% of staff. EQ is not overrated. These are some things we can do to practice emotional intelligence. Self-awareness, like I said before, know to regulate your emotions. I talked about that earlier. Cultivate empathy. I said that before. Communicate effectively and then lead with integrity. These are very key. If you're not doing these things, it will show. You will show up as a fake. But if you are deliberate to harness all these things, people will want to be in your circle. Something else I need us to ponder on is how we enhance our patience and perseverance. Remember what I said about how we usually respond. So remember that a moment of patience and a moment of anger saves you 100 moments of regret. And you will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. True power is sitting back and observing everything with logic. True power is restraint. If words control you, that means everyone else can control you. Breathe and allow things to pass. So if you're going to be deliberate to not always react when people talk to you, then you have to be ready to be patient. Suru lugba. As I round up, one thing else I want us to ponder on. If your emotional abilities are not in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, if you're not able to manage distressing emotions, I've talked about this. If you can't have empathy and have effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are, you're not going to get very far. Relationships are key. I can't say it enough. I always tell people, in your circle, make sure you have an HR person, have a HR friend. You have an interview, you're looking for a job, those are people that can open door for you. Have a finance friend that will tell you, me, I don't believe in blockchain and crypto, but maybe they can advise you on what investments to put your money in. Have a jaye friend. So that when life is, they'll say, well, let's go, let's party there, let's do makeup, tightly. Go and dance away your sorrow small, then come back home. Have a friend that you will pray with. That's very key. So that, this I'll say it in Yoruba, you have to interpret it. Ojo Ogunbale. The day that there's matter that you will scream and say, Father, Lord, have friends like that. Relationships are key. I was listening to a sermon by, was it a sermon? She was speaking. It was Bimba Ushika. Yes, Bimba Ushika, that's her name. Yeah. And she was talking about friendships. And she was like, you need to have different types of friends. Some friends are that we go and play together. Some are talking about goals together. Some are talking about how do we make our money work for us together. Some are talking about our career. Some are talking about shopping. Have different friends. Those relationships, they are very key. Okay, how do we enhance patience and perseverance? First, keep a frustration journal. It helps you take note of what upsets you or what triggers you. I've used a frustration journal before, and I realized that debit alert used to give me palpitations. And what I did was to create multiple streams of income. So beyond my 9-to-5 salary, I have other things that make money for me. Coaching, online products. Let me show you some of my products. It's up there, my diffuser, my candles. I have my candle here. Seun talked about it. I have candle, I have diffuser. So I had to sit down to say, why am I upset? Because debit alert will come. Won't you pay bills? I'll pay bills. But I was deliberate to say, why am I getting upset? Because I'm seeing pokom in my account. And then I realized, okay, let me go and look for things that give me more money so that I have more credit than debit. Because I cannot say I will not spend. So that's what my frustration journal helped me with. If you go and keep it, what frustrates you, go and check it. When you know it, it will be easy to walk to the answer on solving it. Then use the interruption technique. Walk away from the scene. We've talked about how we should be deliberate about how we respond. So if something is happening, use the interruption technique. Walk away from the scene. Now, again, given our setting, if a senior colleague is talking to you and you walk away, they will say it's insubordination. So wisdom is profitable. Know when to use interruption technique. And then delayed response. Delay your response in the heat of anger. There's also the 6 seconds network, 6 seconds pause rather. Pause for about 6 seconds before you act in the face of anger. Why? Pause turns your emotions into emotional intelligence. And then stop and think. Stop and think for a bit before reacting. So when somebody is saying something to you, pause before you react. And that's the place of adjusting our subconscious and going to our conscious mind. Again, the extra one is PAC model. Before you act, pause, acknowledge your thoughts and feelings, and clear your mind. Okay, some things that can help us pause. You see the threat, you pause, and then you respond. When you pause, you respond. If you don't pause, you are reacting. And that means you are doing, you are giving them fire for fire, you are giving them bad booze. But when you pause, you think through, and then you're able to respond well. How do you manage stress using EQ? Yes, let me talk about that very quickly. People with high EQ can handle pressure better and perform better, even when conditions are less than ideal. EI has proven to be relevant in managing stress. How? You practice deep breathing. My internet is not bad. I was practicing deep breathing. Practice deep breathing. Identify your triggers. I've talked about that before. And avoid situations that create them. And then have healthy boundaries with friends, with colleagues. It's important. I've also shared some tools to enhance patience and perseverance. Use them. Also, don't demand perfection of yourself or others. Let's always cut people slacks. People will drop balls. I always tell my people, I know we'll make mistakes, but don't go and make grave mistakes that will make them sack all of us. Wisdom is profitable. But I also know I would demand excellence, but I'm not quite demanding perfection. Recognize your emotions and do not suppress them. That's very key. Also, be deliberate about self-care. Have hobbies and create time for them. What do you do for fun? When I'm in sessions and I'm taking, if this were a physical session, we'll do a lot more. We will go through the wheel of life. And I always ask, what do you do for fun? If you don't do anything for fun and leisure, please go and look for something to do. Netflix, so you go to the cinema. In short, there's something that the cinema does. As you're eating popcorn watching that movie, it gives you, there are some hormones that will be released in your body. You need to have what you do for fun. If you need to go and do sip and paint, if you need to go and do whatever you need to do, please have hobbies and create time for them. As I round up, yes, just a few things to ponder on. The fact that EQ is considered increasingly important for organizations comes as business leaders are looking for employees who have more than just technical skills. Employers are placing greater emphasis on soft skills to cope with the rapidly changing and uncertain business environment. So you have technical competence, you are not the only one. What will differentiate you from the other person is the place of emotional intelligence. Again, emotional intelligence is the single biggest predictor of performance in the workplace and the strongest driver of leaders and personal excellence. I need us to just remember this. One of the things I like to do when I take sessions on emotional intelligence is to take people on coming up with their core values. I have my value plaque here, hung on my wall. And I would like that you just go through the tree very quickly. And I always recommend between 3 to 5. My values are given. I will seek opportunities to give myself, my resources, my skills, my knowledge, my time. What I'm doing here speaks to my core value, giving my time, giving back. Relationship junkie. Yes, I'm very big on relationships. So I said I'm deliberate about building and growing fantastic relationships and network. Yes. Inspiration. I said I seek to inspire every chance I get. So when people reach out to me and they say, Jumoke, that thing you posted, it inspired me. I just smile. It doesn't get to my head. Why? It's speaking to my core value. Passion is the first P. I am passionate about what I do. The last P is purpose. I live daily with a sense of purpose. So I want to recommend that you look at this tree very quickly. Come up with 3 to 5 core values that you will live by. It's not enough to just list it. It's important that you live by it. So my core values are GRIP, GRIPP. So anything you see me do, be sure that it stems from my core value. Okay. So this is something I wanted you to see. You see that in the one in 2022, number 8, you have EQ. The one for 2025, if you look at the key, problem solving, self-management, working with people, all those 3, they're embedded in EQ. And the only ones that are not embedded in EQ are technology use and development. There are only 2. Technology use, monitoring and control, then technology design and programming. So imagine that all the other things are embedded in EQ. So if you have EQ, you know how they say, get Jesus, you get everything. That's what EQ is. Add EQ. Once you can master emotional intelligence, all the other skills are a subset of it. So that's one challenge I have for us. As I round up, 3 key things that you have learned, I want to know it. Because like Maya Angelou said, now that you know better, do better. I will read this very quickly, my conclusion, then I will dash to being assertive and not aggressive. And that will be the end of the session. Yes. So EQ is the capacity to be assertive and not aggressive. So I will go back to that now, so that you now understand why should I be assertive and not aggressive. And then if it costs you your peace, it is too expensive. I'm not afraid to blank out. I'm not afraid to give boundaries. I'm not afraid to soon say for someone that wants to make me worked up, that wants to upset me, because my peace is the currency I use to do all the things that I do. So if I let you contend with my peace, I've given you too much power. Always remember that in all conflicts, people preservation should always be a priority. And then when dealing with an issue, attack the issue, not the person. That's what we've learned in all these things we've said in EQ. And then offense is an event. Being offended is a decision. People will offend you, but if you stay offended, it's a decision that you make. Lastly, emotions drive people, and people drive performance, profitability, profits, everything. People are the ones that will drive bottom line. I was saying it in the session I was on yesterday, that you do a brilliant strategy document and you put it under the table. If people that will drive you don't know, how would the strategy get achieved? And so talking about assertiveness and aggressiveness, when you have EQ, you are assertive. You understand the place of controlled body language. You keep your hand visible. You use respectful hand gestures, and you maintain reasonable eye contact. You are solution focused if you're assertive. You are looking for a solution that allows everybody win. You always look for a win-win for everybody, not that you win and other people don't win. And then if you're assertive, you respect both your personal needs and the needs of others. And you express thoughts and feelings in a way that doesn't violate the right of others. You establish clear boundaries in your relationships. For people that are aggressive, they have domineering body language, emotionally charged gestures and emphatic volumes. And then for aggressive individuals, they only seek to win at all costs. As long as they win and you don't win, they can't be bothered. And then they are inconsiderate. Aggressive communicators are disrespectful. Their language and tone build walls and escalate situations. They only consider their feelings and make demands of others. So I hope that as we round up this call, you will remember to be assertive and not aggressive. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, wow, wow. This is the bomb. Wow. My sister, Dr. Jam, well, I am flabbergasted. And thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for doing this. You can see the chat room is buzzing. Please keep it up, guys. Keep sending how you feel. Keep showing her the appreciation. Keep clapping. Just type something for Dr. Jam. This is the bomb. Personally, I've learned a lot. Personally, seriously. Wow, wow. Please just go to the chat room and see for yourself. It's coming in, it's rolling in. Thanks a lot, my sister. I really appreciate this. Okay, so while we try to soak in all the contents, it's been quite explosive. It's been insightful. Man, so guys, please, as you drop your how you feel using the emojis and all of that, please let's also drop our questions. And I'm going to start by asking questions. But let me just say this. Let me share this on a global stage today. So you don't know why I actually fell in love with your personality. It's because of three things basically. So myself and you were on a platform. Omotola invited us. She was launching something. And I think it was the first time I listened to you speak for a long time. All the other time, maybe just a few clips on LinkedIn and all of that, maybe most of your content. And I saw three things that stood out for me. The passion with which you do what you do, right? Second is the vibes, the humor in when you talk, putting the humor, the vibes, and that makes it quite exciting and interesting. And the last one is everything you say, they are relatable. We can all relate. You don't just, it is real, it is authentic. You use real life examples, and that's what it should be. So you are a great facilitator. In case no one has told you that, you are a great facilitator, and I respect you, my sister. Thanks a lot for doing this. Okay, so now let's get into more interaction. I'm sorry we've done almost an hour and 20 minutes, but let's just do some more time for Q&A. So guys, friends, colleagues, please begin to drop your questions, all right? So let me start. In the workplace today, because we have different personality types, we have bosses who some of us are still trying to see how to manage them better. Now let's talk about a boss who never sees anything. But even when employees are commending you, they are saying, oh, you are good, you are this, you are that, and all. But your boss never. So maybe the boss is more of a perfectionist. The boss always wants you to do things their own way. But we were not born the same. Nobody the same mama born two of us. So why would you want, your associates or reports to do things the way you will always do? So how can we use EQ, emotional intelligence, relationship building, to manage a boss that is a perfectionist, never sees anything good in what you do? How can you? Have you faced this before? How did you resolve it? Please help us with this. That's the first question from me. Over to you, Dr. Jam. Hello.
Okay, I lost you for a bit. You said, how can we use?
Yeah, how can we use EQ, relationship building, to resolve a situation where your line manager or supervisor doesn't see anything good? Is either he or she is always not commending you, or always castigating every effort you put into your work, and it makes you feel like you don't know what you're doing again. You begin to second guess yourself. So how can you use EQ, to resolve this matter? Over to you.
Fantastic. So again, I will start from the place of self-awareness. I know when I was talking about self-awareness, I said, be sure that you are actually good. Be sure that you are growing depth. And I'm not saying that we will be perfect. I said it. I'm deliberate not to expect perfection. It is excellence I strive for. So for you as an individual, and I've been there before, you work with line manager that will make you feel like, what do you even know? What are you doing? First is self-awareness. First is be sure that you're good. Know the areas you need to improve. Be deliberate about improving those areas. Whether or not they give you your flowers is neither here nor there. Two things I would say is keep at it. So they don't give you thumbs up. They act like, what are you doing? You're not doing anything exceptional. No wahala. You just make sure that you do a great job. One thing I always tell my direct reports in all the places I've worked is do your work so well that nobody is able to fault the quality of work that you do. Do your work so well. You will not be able to fault that I have done a great job here, I have left my mark. Even when I leave that organization, my name will be mentioned as in sure for me. I will do a great job. And I may not get the flowers, though. You may not give me my accolades. Again, am I working for the accolades? The accolades are good. Don't get me wrong. They motivate us. They make us feel like, yes, I'm doing, you want to do more. But if you find yourself in a role where you are doing so much and you're not getting the accolades, no wahala. Still be doing, Don't now go and say, because of what they're saying, I'll not do as much. Because I said it in the session I was in yesterday. I don't believe in quiet quitting. When you quiet quit, you are shortchanging yourself. Because imagine if, because you're not getting accolades, you want to do the barest minimum. Some other people will see you doing that barest minimum. They won't know that you're a bag of chips and some, that you're just upset. That's why you're doing small. Why are you doing small? So do a great job. Even if you don't get the accolades, please go and look for motivation inside you. And you know, I said passion. Go and look for passion fruit. Go and eat it. I've never said that before. Go and look for passion fruit. Eat some of it. And make sure that every day you do your job the way you would do it, whether or not you get thumbs up. Two things will happen. Somebody can leave that organization, go to another organization and say, you're looking for head of HR. You're looking for a business development manager. I worked with one person in my last job. That person was fantastic. Let me recommend that. And that's how people mention you where it matters. It can happen that, and that's why I said also organizational awareness. Make sure that beyond your OGA, other people know you, say you sabi your work. Don't let one OGA go and bat your jail. The thing where I don't see. Don't let one OGA go. Yes. So make sure that, and like I said, that's one option. Another option is you can still get your accolade within that organization. Some people will see what you do and they'll still come and give you your flowers. But you too, don't be controlled by the way my OGA is doing. Don't let it move you. I said something earlier. You will think that Ronuko Bami. Shall do. And I always tell people, I say, see, my salary is a given. Shall be putting that pokom every month in my. Let me be seeing you. Be doing what you like. Remember, I also said every job has a lifespan. So be doing this way. You are going to estimate my lifespan in the organization because I know the magic I carry. Is you that we lose? Hello? By the time I resign, do you know how long before you replace me? You are the one that we lose. And where I'm going for higher level, I'm going for more money. Who has lost? The person. So while you are there, do a great job. If they give you your flowers, fine. If they don't give you, be drinking Zobo. But also have a plan. Build relationships within the business and look for your next big role. I'm an advocate of every job has a lifespan. Whatever you do overstay. Welcome. Go for your next big job. Thank you.
Wow. Very, very, very interesting response there. Thank you, Jan. Okay, so my next question before I go to the chat room, guys, please ensure you are sharing your questions, right? I'm going to come there just some. So this next question, you touched a bit on it, and I'm going to quickly elaborate. So you mentioned that not only your line manager should know you, let other people who matter, decision brokers, power brokers in your business, they should also know you. Now, can you share with us practical examples of how you can be visible, you can project your good work in a way that you are not undermining your line manager, right? And you are doing it professionally, and you are being you are not passing your limit. Let me put it that way, because there are times when some managers will say, it seems your own is getting too much. Why are you trying to go and meet those senior managers? Why are you going to meet a director? So tell us in practical terms, how can you project your work, right? How can you build relationship with your line manager's peers or even OGAs in such a way that you are not undermining your line manager and it's done professionally? Over to you, Dr. Jam.
The first thing I will say is, may you not work with a boss that is not self-aware. It's not self-aware. I want to call it. That's how I want to say it. Who is, that word is not coming to me. You know, when you have a boss that is afraid of your own shine. I don't know, there's a word.
Insecurities.
Insecure. God will bless you, my brother. That English. That's the first prayer we pray for you. Because, may you not work for a boss who is insecure. Prayer new. So first and foremost, may our bosses not be insecure. Amen. If it now happen that we're working for insecure bosses, it's God that will help us. Because they will see you talking to a director and they'll see that, why are you in that person? I've seen bosses like that. They'll say, why are you talking to that person? Now, I will also be honest to say, I've worked in different organizations, I've seen all sorts. But one thing I've also learned is my own talent even brings people to me. So for many of those seniors, I won't go out of my way to go and meet them. This is who I am. I'm reporting to this person. That person head is not correct. I just want you to know that's where I've come. That's how you will go. Do a great job managing whatever you are in charge of. That the way the wise men sought Jesus, those seniors will seek you out. Number one. Number two, even if you don't have that much visibility and you need to build it, look for opportunities to connect. So you are a HR person, you want to connect with the finance director. Is there a finance person at your own level? Can you build relationship with that person first? And then use that person to get to the finance director, because you want to just, you're not trying to beg for money. Sure, you people see you. You are not trying to know the finance director so that his credit to account anyhow. No, you just want to build rapport. And the best way to build rapport is in an authentic way. If you come across needy, desperate, people will run from you. And as I'm saying, do what is assigned to you very well. You are in meetings where these people are there, you speak up. You have an opportunity to share, you talk, and always be ready. And that's the thing. That's why I say package your career like a business. I don't talk about. Don't be doing the opportunity you have to show up and put your best foot forward, maximize it. Somebody says, oh, there's a meeting, or we're doing something across the business, and we're looking for volunteers across the business. Show up. Because let me share an example. I joined a new organization January of this year. And I know who I am. I know my magic, I own it. I'm okay, I get. So, but when I resumed, I was just doing JJ, I was just sit down, I will not talk. I wasn't saying anything. And then people were like, when I resumed, they checked my name. Then people go and look me up online. They'll not come back. They'll be like, oh, that's you. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Like, I'm the one, but I'm not wearing crown and say, oh, I'm the queen of the jungle. I'm not. And then we had an event, and I had to work with other people across the business. I resumed in January. So this was like March. So by March, we had an event and we had to go out of town, and I went with a few colleagues. And that was the first time I was connecting with people across departments. And that opportunity, the doors he has opened for me in this organization. Even me, I'm happy that I went. And so I went, and I was like the most senior HR person in the team. And in the way that I was coordinating, we were supporting, I don't know, I don't want to say too much. So we're supporting another department. So I'll be like, oh, guys, what do you need us to do? And I went to two other HR people. So I was coordinating. And then in the course of the event, my colleagues were like, you are new to ATM, we didn't know that. We like you. I'm like, hey, you guys like me. Yeah, so happy to hear. You won't believe that because of the interactions I had with a few people, it's not the entire organization, no. A few people, by the time we got back to the office, they became my raving fans. They were the ones that were now telling other people, telling seniors, mentioning my name, that, that lady that just doing in HR, come and see how she's this, she's that. We even checked that. Do you see? So I'm saying opportunities like that, you take them. When you take them, use it to your advantage. And I always say that, see, don't show up in a way that you will make everybody else feel uncomfortable. No. There's what we call the habit of quiet self-promotion. People will know you, talk about yourself, your skills, everything, your competencies, but don't do it in a way that makes other people feel less of who they are, or you make other people feel small. No. So, and that's the place of self-awareness. When you are self-aware, when you know you're a bag of chips and some, you have no point to prove to anybody. And that's why I said in some instances, people can come and seek you out. You'll be at your desk. Nations will come and meet you. What's up? We heard about you. Good to see you. Yes. So I don't know if this has helped. And again, some of these questions in sessions like this, there are no hard or fast rule to them. The reality, the context will determine how you navigate it. But I hope that these responses help, as people try to navigate these situations.
Wow. Thank you so much again for that. I just learned something. I'm not sure I've heard this before. Quiet self-promotion. Interesting. Thanks a lot for that. All right, so I have another question, but let me check the chat room. I'm not sure there is any question yet. Let me check the chat room. Okay, so So yeah, there is no question. And I guess the reason why there are no questions is because you have given us a lot to consume, and people are still trying to trying to,
I think I just saw a question.
okay, there's
Somebody
a
said
question.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, yeah, thanks. David Oloyede, thanks for that. He says, how do you handle situations where there is much workload on you, though others are there, and your boss still puts pressure on you? Overloading. Okay, over to you, Jack.
There are two ways that can be interpreted. It can be that you're the star, and the person just knows that, see, if I give this one the work, it will deal to finish. You see all these other ones, they are Serekode. They will not do a great job. They will stress me. I'll still come back and do the work for them. So it might be that you're so competent, and that's not a bad thing. I must say to you that in my 14-year experience, or let me say in the early days of my career, many of the things my boss gave me to do that I thought, oh, this might stress me, this might stress me, is what I'm using to shine now. So it looked like it was stressing me then, but it helped me build my muscle in the work that I do.
Capacity.
Yes. So maybe you are good. And they say the reward for hard work is what? Homework. So maybe you're so good, and then your boss says, I know if I give this person this task, they will deal to finish. Maybe that's why the task is coming to you. So I don't know if that is correct. Because how do you handle a situation where there's so much workload on you, though others are there, and your boss still put pressure on you? And it can be that your boss doesn't really like you, and he's like, let me load him up well. By the time he's overwhelmed, you drop the ball, I'll give him query. It can be that as well. So if that is the case, build capacity. If it's something you can give to someone to help with, if there are lesser tasks, you also can now delegate, give somebody to help you. Focus on the ones that you can do. If you can do everything, do it. But whatever it is you do, make sure that you don't drop the ball or the quality of the work that you do. And at some point, please, my mom taught me this one, confront your confronter. At some point, you can tell your line manager, I would like to have a conversation with you. And you will sit with that person and say, there are a few observations that I have. I see that you give me a lot of tasks. I'm not complaining. I love the opportunity to do great work, but I want to know why it seems it's only me you're giving and not everybody else. So again, it's about the kind of manager that you have. You know that you can say this thing to one manager now and they sack you the next minute. And it depends on the organization you are working in. So I'm just giving you different scenarios of what you can possibly do. But the reality surrounding that situation, I may not have all the details. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, thank you so much for that response. So the next question here seems almost the same like the one you just answered, but let me just read. It says, how do you manage a boss that thinks his business is above your life as an employee? Is he hardworking or selfish? Did you get that? How do you manage a boss that thinks his business is above your life as an employee?
What does that mean? Above my life, how?
So maybe
That's
the
like
person,
they always prioritize the work over my well-being.
maybe results, yeah, results as a result over the person, the welfare of the person doing it. So he's saying, is the person hardworking or selfish?
So there's a thin line when you drive people to perform, when you want to make sure that people are not dropping the ball and they're constantly working hard. But when you overdo that and it's impacting people's well-being, that's no longer hard work. So you're the one who can, I don't know what the context surrounding this situation is. I drive my people to perform, but they know me. Weekends, you may not hear my voice at all. The next time I see you is on Monday. Except there's a task we have to conclude over the weekend. If not, I give them their weekends. Late at night, I don't reach out to you. So it depends. But if an employer makes you feel like your life is not that important, it's their own work that is important, remember what I said about every job has a lifespan. And you have an option. I always say talent as an option. Don't ever be in a role where you think, will I ever get another job? Yes. Talk to the right people, equip yourself, and you can get another job. But you should not be in a role where somebody makes you feel like your life is not important or your life can go at the detriment of their work. Never. That should never be the case. So if it's a conversation you need to have with your line manager, have those conversations. And guys, let us see. I tell people that I've seen so much in my career. I changed jobs once and the job went south and I didn't get paid for 5 months. And it felt like my life was ending. It felt like, and then I bounced back. And I tell people now, I feel like a career zombie. I can resign today without another job in sight. And I know that I will not drink Gary. You need to get to that point. Don't let people use the job as a weapon. Don't let them weaponize you with the jobs that you have. I don't know how best I can say it. And I know economy is not smiling, many things are not smiling, but nobody should ever play God in your life because of a job. Nobody. And don't give them that power. Equip yourself, upskill, have skills that you are sought after, update your LinkedIn. I do LinkedIn optimization for people. After we optimize our LinkedIn, people contact us on LinkedIn. So if you know that it is a new job you need, don't argue with your guy. Go and adjust your CV. And you get it. And see, I don't know how I can say this thing. I've been in organizations that I've seen people, you're on the same role 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, same role, same salary. I'm uncomfortable with that kind of reality. I can't deal. But again, I'm like, is it that you didn't upskill yourself enough to know that you deserve better? Please, let's wake up. The way a business person will carry their market and be hawking it, let your career be like, our career should not be something you put on the back burner. And then I'll collect 100K for 10 years. No. And you deserve better as long as you're upskilling. If you're upskilling and you're adding value to yourself, you deserve better, and better exists. It is when you leave one organization and you enter another organization and they tell you the perks you will enjoy, you'll be saying, Chai, God, why did I come here since? And you realize that you have been shortchanging yourself. So please, it's not that we will be incompetent. So you see, I've said, we will build capacity, we will build real depth in whatever career path we are in. And then we know that we have an option. Nobody should play God in your life. Somebody said, can undergraduate get a good job without experience? It depends. You can start with an internship. Look for opportunity to first grow your muscle. I was sharing with my direct reports the other day. 21st September was celebrated World Gratitude Day. And I was telling them to be grateful regardless. And I told them, I said, some of you are contract, some of you are full-time. Maybe you're looking at your salary and like, this salary, which day will it complete? I told them, say, my first job, I was on 25,000 naira. I was teaching in a school. Yes, 2008. 25K. Money that cannot take me home. Thank God I was living with my parents. I wasn't paying bills. I was just chopping, like collecting money, squander. Because there was food at home. My popsi would drop me in the office, in the school, or in the morning. So I was just living the good. 25K was my salary. But this is 14 years after. And I know the salary I'm collecting. You get it? It's a journey. So you also cannot be an undergraduate and get a good experience. I don't know. There's work that needs to be done. How will you get a good job with that experience? So let our expectations be realistic. What you can possibly get is an internship opportunity as an undergraduate. But let's be willing to do the work. There's work that will get us there. But as long as we're willing to do the work, be sure the reward is on the other side. My career is a testimony. I don't like to give too much details, but the people who know my career story, they know it. I hope I've answered. If you allow me, we'll be here till 9 p.m. And there's work for some people tomorrow because I'm starting leave tomorrow. That's why I'm not rushing.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. So just to summarize Jam's response, you need to upskill, plan your exits, right? Whatever you're going through, the challenges would improve your capacity, right? You would learn a lot from it, but know when to leave. And don't just jump the ship. Be sure you're ready, right? Like Jam said, I left my job, so I resigned twice without a job. And I went to stay in my house. I was resting for 3 months. Then fourth month, I started looking for a job. It's because I have built capacity to a level where I know people are looking for me.
And
Even when I
it's
was
sure
resting,
for you. It's sure for you.
when I was resting, people were sending me this job. I say, I don't want to work. I want to rest for 3 months. So guys, build your competence, your skills to that level. So my last question, because of time, we need to go, is let's talk about, because we have some senior people on this call, right? So when you rise, you're rising the career ladder, right? It becomes narrower, opportunities are slimmer. So what are the critical EQ skills that you need to manage stakeholders and get to the zenith of your career aspiration? That's my last question for you today before we close.
When you said that career ladder, what I remembered was lonely at the top. Bang, 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 bang. But I always say that, yes, they say leadership is lonely because really the more senior you get, the fewer you have people you can actually confide in. It's just like a celebrity. Before you became a celebrity, you have many friends. When you become a celeb, you have to be careful who you follow talk, what will be said about you. So it's the same thing with leadership. The more senior you get, the slimmer, like you said, the opportunities. But I think the things that worked for me, and I believe will continue to work for me, are first knowing who I am. Who I am is a very important mix, important part of the puzzle. So I will never be in doubt about who I am, the value that I bring, and that I'm able to pitch to anybody in any circumstance. The second one will still remain relationships. So the relationships I've built and I will continue to build are the ones that will still make a difference. And when I say relationships, like what I read about your direct reports, your children, one thing. When I say relationship, the person that can help me get maybe a federal government deal to train one parastatal, it can be a direct report. It's not only senior people, what we know. It can be a direct report. So those relationships are too key. And I think as we grow in our career, let's remember, who are we from the place of self-awareness? What strength do we have? What weaknesses? All those things. Know it very well. And then move to the place of, how am I deliberate about the people in my circle? If you are not deliberate about the people in your circle, is a problem. Before I round up, somebody said, Vibe Queen, thank you. Somebody said something, and I'd like to talk about it very quickly. She said, I don't know if it's a he or a she. Is it advisable to pause your career for childbearing? Can you please share with us how you cope with your work and your early marriage life? Oh, okay. Let me talk about childbearing very quickly, and I'll share an example. So I had a friend who we did youth corps together. After youth corps, she went off for masters in HR in the UK, came back to Nigeria, worked for a bit, but she was trusting God for kids, and they were, kids weren't coming, and so the husband said she should leave the work, and stay at home, and so she was stay-at-home mom for some years, and eventually had 2 kids. I find that a big testimony. So God eventually granted her, she had 2 kids. And then she was ready to come back into the world of work. Now, if you take time off to go and focus on that, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm currently writing a book that I'm going to publish in the coming months titled Ditch the Guilt. And it is because I have seen many women who feel like, hey, how will I combine? I'm a working mom. There are days I cannot go for open day because I need to be in the office, but it doesn't make me a bad mom. Sorry, you get. Because there are some other days that I can go for the open day, and so we need to ditch the guilt as women. So if you need to stay away from work, having babies is an important part of your life. Very, very important for you and your husband. So if as a woman, you need to sacrifice and say, I need to go and do this, it's not out of place. So this, my friend I was talking about, I think it was 2 years ago, she was now ready to come back into the world of work. And I said to her, I said, sis, your HR experience, you paused it for a bit. So I need us to look for an opportunity for you to intern. It doesn't mean you are clueless, but let's get you slowly back into the world of work. And then I spoke to one of my friends that has a consulting firm. He said, oh, let her come in. She joined them. Few months after, he deployed her as in-house HR for an organization. Few months after, those ones said they will give her a permanent offer. So you can go and have kids and come back. It's the strategy you adopt that will make the difference. But it was a child you went to have. Did you kill anybody? So it's not out of place. And that's why I said we need to ditch the guilt. How did I cope with work and early marriage life? Now I have 2 kids. My first is 9. My second is 6. And when I started having kids, I thought I could not do without nannies. So I always had a nanny. I'm grateful to God that I had my mom also. So in the first few years when my kids were growing, I had my mom. I always tell people that I never had to bathe my kids as konkolo, those small children when they're tiny. My mom always did that. I never had to. So I've been thinking about it, that when my kids are getting married and having children, will I know how to bathe baby like this? Because I didn't do it. So I had my mom, and I'm grateful. And then I always had a nanny. So I had a nanny who was there and will be there to take care of the kids when I'm away. Now, and in those early days, it can be very, very crucial because the kids cannot talk. The baby cannot feed themselves. So you need somebody to be on ground. And if you have to get a nanny, live in, or the one that will come and go, however, do what works for you. If you can get a family member, your auntie, your mom, or your in-law, whatever, do what works for you. When that phase has passed, I've been now in my house for the past 1 year. I've not had any living nanny. In short, when I think about it, I'm like, how are we coping? We are coping fine because now the kids can talk, they can bathe themselves, they are, do you get? So I'm saying life is in phases. So in those early days, there are sacrifices we need to make. And that's the thing. And that's why I said I'm working on that book, Ditch the Guilt, because there's really no balance. Now my daughter is in front of me. Oh yeah, come and say hello. I need to do this, but I'm a mom, and somebody is signaling to me time and again. Say hello.
Hi,
So
we love you.
does that
Thank
make me a
you.
bad mom? No, do you get? But I have to, it's in the balancing of the act. So I'm not going to feel like, I know that when I'm done now, I'll have time to talk to her. But right now, I need to finish what I'm doing. So that the times when something will take a bit from us is not out of place, and we should never feel guilty. For every woman on this call, you're married, you have kids, you are single, don't feel guilty. Even men, there are times that you need to travel for work, and all you do is just pay bills, pay bills, pay bills. You don't remember to even go for open day. Don't feel bad. Find time as much as possible. If you can fix it into your leave days or something, but don't ever feel guilty. No, and it's because of the what we've been told. That's why we hold on to those things and feel like. And I tell people, my mom, I grew up seeing my mom work for 30 years. So my dad and my mom were career professionals. I saw it. And so for me, there's nothing you can tell me. I can do it. And my mom raised my brothers and I, and she did well in her career as well. So there's nothing you're telling me that I've not seen in the course of my own life. So I hope I've answered that question for that person. And I hope that I've answered your question as well. If you allow me, get to 9 o'clock.
Yes, you have, and we have to draw the curtain. Wow. Once again, thank you so much, my sister. Thank you for doing this. I don't know. I'm tempted to add you on our WhatsApp platform. I told you that earlier on. Maybe it's a time for you to join. There will be question and answers for you to answer once in a while. Anyway, thanks everyone for your time.
That's fine.
Thank you. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Promise. Thank you, Ajibola. Please start dropping your final comment for Hacking Performance Africa and for facilitator. Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone. I'm trying to say the names. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Happiness. Thank you, Joma. Thank you, Ismaila Iyabo, John, Unwosu, Olayinka, Yemi, Temitokbe. Oh, Tony Talks Talent. All right, can someone just unmute and do the closing remarks? I don't want to do it. I want someone else to do it. So who's going to do that? From the admin, Esther, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here, Dr. John.
Okay, go ahead, Esther.
Trust me, it's always a delight to listen to Dr. John. Like you said, the passion, the vibe, everything. So that's already as I'm always, except I'm extremely busy and I can't join, but trust me, I always want to join. Thanks so much, Dr. John. It's always a delight to listen to you, to hear you speak and say practical things, not just speaking, but you're speaking from the place of experience, the place of passion, and from a place of compassion and empathy. You want people to know it and, do it and move on and thrive. And for that, we are truly grateful. Thank you for honoring this invitation, for taking on the start, and for doing a great job with the start. We are truly grateful. And for Seun, you're always the boss, You always know how to bring people together and then try to share knowledge and try to bring things out. And that we are truly grateful. For everyone that's joined, thanks for joining. Thank you so much, Dr. Jam. And we hope that the next time we call you, you answer this call. Thank you so much. Please extend my hugs and warm hugs and love to your children, especially the one that came out to say it. Very brave of her. Thank you so much. Seun, back to you.
Wow, thank you, Esther, for that lovely closing remark. And on this note, I want to say thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. And on behalf of Hacking Performance Africa, I want to wish you a very interesting weekend, new week, and do enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time on our next webinar series. My name remains Seun Damilare-Victor, the founder, Hacking Performance Africa. Bye for now and stay blessed. Thank you, Dr. Jam. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. Thank you.